Hi guys, welcome back to the channel FPL Consult here, and in today's video we have my double gameweek25 team selection. Now, I've had a couple of days off of content. I hope you guys have had a good break as well, but I definitely caught up to date with the AFL Cup games as well as the FA Cup games, which have had huge implications on the landscape of FPL moving forward. So we're going to touch on this before we go into my Game Week 25 team selection. If you guys enjoyed today's video, please drop a like. Please do subscribe as well. And let's get cracking. So in this graphic here, courtesy of Ben Crellin, of course, he is the fixture guru. If at this point of the season you are not following him, you're definitely not doing it right. Go over to Twitter or X, whatever you call it, and follow at Ben Crellin. He is going to be a huge help to navigate the next few game weeks. So in terms of double game week 25, starting right here, we have Aston Villa and Liverpool doubling. Now, this is obviously as a result of the AFL Cup semi-finals that we've seen, where Newcastle have progressed to the finals. They beat Arsenal, and also Liverpool have progressed to the finals, beating Spurs 4-0 at Anfield. So in 25, it's only these two teams doubling, which I think by now most of us know already. But really in this section, I wanted to kind of speak more about the future game weeks, specifically the blanks and doubles in the blanks in 29, in 34, the doubles in 33 and 36. Those are the ones that we've had a little bit more insight as a result of the AFL Cup games as well as the FA Cup games. So starting with blank game week 29, at the moment, Liverpool and Aston Villa are blanking in that game week for sure. But Crystal Palace and Newcastle are also very likely to blank in that game week. And at the moment, the fixture is still there. They've not really moved it anywhere at the moment. But it's very likely that we'll get an announcement from the Premier League saying that the Newcastle and Crystal Palace game in 29 is going to be postponed. In which case, these four teams would blank. And looking at how small a blank game week 29 is as compared to 34, which we'll speak about later on, I think I'm still very likely to stick to my strategy of using free transfers to navigate this blank game week 29. Right? So at the moment, that's still my strategy. The next game week to note is double game week 33. Now, this is a double for a couple of reasons. Take, for example, the game week 29 fixture of Newcastle and Crystal Palace that is likely to get postponed. It is very likely that that would move into double game week 33. So that's one of the ways that teams double in 33, moving fixtures from 29 to 33. Another way that teams double in 33 is if fixtures move from 34 to 33. And it's mainly because in 34, that would be the FA Cup games. It's another round of FA Cup games in that week. And basically, teams that are involved in the FA Cup would not be able to play in 34, and therefore their games have to move to 33. So based off of Ben Crellin's predictions right now, it is looking fairly likely that there will be doubles for Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, Man City, and Newcastle, and more to come as well. Bournemouth as well as Manchester United also have fairly decent chances of doubling. Now, looking at this double game week 33, it's likely going to be bigger than game week 36. It's going to be a bigger double, in which case I think I'm more likely to bench boost in double game week 33. Now, looking at game week 34 then, it's fairly likely that game week 34 is going to be a much bigger blank game week than game week 29. And I add on the fact that when I look at my kind of players that I want to have, granted that in 34, there have been two confirmed fixtures. Chelsea and Everton as well as Liverpool and Spurs will go ahead. But when I look at the other teams that are blanking in that game week, they are very likely to be teams that are doubling in 33. You take, for example, Aston Villa. They double in 33, but they blank in 34. Another example of this is Crystal Palace, for example. They double in 33, but they're very likely to blank in 34 as well. So on and so forth. So I think looking at how the team is shaping up when I'm at double game week 33 and kind of bench boosting, I think it just makes more sense for me to just using the free hit in 34 to get that game week out of the way. I don't have to worry about it too much. Right, but definitely I do think that having the Liverpool and Spurs game there, as well as the Chelsea and Everton game there, definitely helps some people open up other strategies as well. But at least at this point, 34 for me still feels like a free hit week. Now in 35, it's a normal game week. 36 is where there will be a couple of doubles there. But again, this could be for a couple of reasons. Games in 37 could move to 36. Games in 34 that are postponed could also have a chance of moving to 36 as well. So it's dependent on very different factors, and it's probably only factors that Ben Krellin can kind of put prediction numbers to. But at least on the permutations that we have here, there are a couple of teams worth noting as well. The only thing I would say is that it's looking pretty likely 36 is going to be a smaller double, in which case I think I would bench boost still in 33. But I do think, like, if you are in a position where you've used your assistant manager already and then you're looking for a week to triple captain, I think 36 could be a decent enough week as well. Right, so there we go with the landscape of FPL moving forward. Looking at the schedule that we have, we will get more information as we get closer to the game week 30 deadline. Right, so by the game week 30 deadline, most of the doubles and blanks moving forward will pretty much have good numbers and predictions to it as well. It won't be as complex as whatever Ben Krellin has here, but at least now in game week 25, knowing this is the landscape moving forward, we can ascertain what chip strategy we want to be on, in which case that would affect our transfers looking at our team right now. So hopefully this section was helpful for you guys looking at the landscape moving forward. And let's now have a look at my double game week 25 team. So for double game week 25, this is how my team is looking like. I've already used my one free transfer to do Lewis Hall to Milos Kerkez. I did this before Kerkez rose in price because he was a player, firstly, when compared to Lewis Hall, has a fixture in 29, as we saw in the kind of previous graphic there. It's likely Newcastle will blank in 29. So bringing Kerkez in here is part of the greater plan to kind of navigate game week 29 with free transfers. Now, aside from that, he obviously is starting a very good run of fixtures, starting with Southampton here, and Bournemouth are a team playing really well. So Kerkez, very attacking. I'm happy enough to have him. Aside from this transfer, I actually had in game week 25 penciled in a move for Isak to Watkins, but that right now is looking more and more unlikely that I make that move for a couple of reasons. Firstly, Watkins himself is currently injured. He missed out completely in the FA Cup game that Aston Villa played against Spurs over the weekend. And on top of that, Isak himself has been playing really well to the point where I think this game here, Man City away, who are honestly struggling defensively right now, is a fixture I actually think Isak could do well in. So I'm going to keep Isak here. It's very unlikely that I do Isak to Watkins. And in terms of the rest of my players, I'm pretty happy with most of them. But I think it's fairly important to speak about the flags that I have right in front of me now, which is Flecken against West Ham away, and then Trent with this double game week. Now I'm recording this before the second fixture for Liverpool in double game week 24, which means that I haven't seen the lineup for the Everton game. But basically, based off of reports that we've seen so far, Trent is not going to be out for very long. And actually, if he does miss this kind of Everton game here in 24, which by the time you're watching this, you know the lineups already. If he misses the Everton game, or he features a little bit, I think there's a fairly good chance he starts the Wolves game. And this double in 25 that Liverpool have, I think I don't mind just keeping Trent if he's fit enough. And the initial scans obviously was that the injury is not too serious. And as of recording, I've seen a couple of tweets that he's already going to be back in full training. So I'm quite positive for game week 25 at least that I will have Trent still in my team despite this yellow flag here. But obviously we'll wait to hear kind of more news from Slot as we get closer to the double game week 25 deadline. And if I need to make any transfers, I can always make them on the deadline stream. Now, aside from that, there's Flecken here against West Ham away. This is honestly a very annoying situation here because Flecken was always the keeper that I wanted to start for this period of game week 25 to game week 27. That Bournemouth have a really good run. This was the main reason why I brought Mbumo and Vissa in as well. Granted that the last two games, they've kind of disappointed me quite a bit, but West Ham away was the banker fixture for me for Flecken. So I think right now it is annoying that he's yellow flagged, but am I going to use a transfer to do something like Flecken to Martinez? I don't think I'm going to make that kind of a move. So if Flecken does miss out, I think I'm more likely to just bench him and start Verbruggen against Chelsea. Now, the main reason is because next week in Game Week 26, Verbruggen has Southampton away, Flecken has Leicester away. If Flecken is fine, I probably start Flecken, but I have Verbruggen next week against Southampton. In the situation where Flecken is still injured, I can start Verbruggen instead. So fingers crossed that Flecken is actually fine for Game Week 25, in which case I would just start him here. Even if he's not fine, I probably just put him still in my starting 11 and have Verbruggen auto sub in on the bench. So aside from that, in terms of double game week players, specifically from Liverpool, I have Trent, Salah and Slot. No way I'm moving any one of Slot or Salah, so Trent again waiting on the injury update. Aside from that, from Aston Villa, I only have Rodgers, and the fact is that I'm really not too fussed at all that I only have Rodgers, because other attackers from Aston Villa are not nailed enough for me to move for them. Not only that, Aston Villa blank in Game Week 29, so it's not really in my interest to bring in one more player who blanks in 29, and thereafter I have to spend a transfer to transfer that player out as well. So attackingly, not many good options. Defensively, they're kind of missing Konza as well, who has a bit of an injury. So that weakens their defense. But on top of that, when I look at Aston Villa's kind of fixtures now in 25, one of them has Liverpool, right? So defensively, they also haven't been keeping lots of clean sheets. And again, the blank in 29 is going to put me off going for Villa defenders too. So in terms of Aston Villa assets, I'm happy enough with just Rodgers. So looking at the rest of my team, Flecken, Kirkes, Trent, Gabriel in defense. Fair enough. Rodgers, Mbumo, Salah, Palmer in my midfield. Isak, Wissa, Mateta up front. So I have Ahmad and Robinson on the bench. Now again, Ahmad here against Spurs away is a fixture I think he could do well in. But honestly, who do I bench from this starting 11? So it's a great position to be in. I'm happy to be in this spot. And even in 26, Ahmad has Ipswich. I could very well start Ahmad then. So I'm not keen on transferring him out for someone like Kluivert right now. All right, so Ahmad is still going to be on the bench. Robinson as well. He's going to be key for me because he has a pretty good rotation with players like Trent as well as Kirkes moving forward in the next few game weeks leading up to the blank, where I could very well just swap Robinson in. Fulham do have a couple of good fixtures, and also Robinson looking very good for assist threat. So I don't think I'm going to sell him anytime soon. It's just a case of rotating. So looking at the wider scheme of things now, moving forward the next few game weeks, I don't think I'll be using a lot of transfers, but if I do, it would definitely be to take out either Palace, Newcastle, or Aston Villa players for players who actually have fixtures in 29. As for the Liverpool assets, come Game Week 27, I wouldn't have Slot already. That leaves me in a position where I would have two Liverpool players going into the blank in 29, in which case I don't think I'd sell Salah because there's lots of value tied up in him. So I think likely in 29, I'd probably sell Trent as one of the moves to free up money. But by the time that comes around, maybe a lot of things could have happened. So I just wanted to give a big picture view of what's in my mind right now. Hopefully it was clear. And for 25, aside from this one free transfer that I've used to do Lewis Hall to Milos Kerkez, I think that's pretty much it, right? And then obviously I haven't put it on the graphic here, but Salah is going to be my captain. If Trent is looking unlikely that he's going to start both games, maybe I put the vice captain on Rodgers instead. But if not, that's it for my Double Game Week 25 team selection. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please do drop a like. Please do subscribe as well. And I will be having the deadline stream, as always, 3 hours before the deadline. So I'll catch you guys there for any last minute decisions. If not, I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye-bye.